Welcome to John Essex Sports Channel, where we're going to do League 2 Week 2 predictions. We're going to try and make it nice and quick because there's not many predictions out there. So I'm going to try and make it a little bit easy on the ear for you all. We're going to add the betting because there really aren't many predictions, and not many of you have given me your thoughts for this weekend. So we're going to go in with Bristol Rovers versus Newport County. First, Bristol Rovers are the favourites here by the bookies. There has been one or two, not a lot, there's been one or two people predicting this game, and they are predicting 2-1, 3-1 to Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers here, last time out, York City 3, Bristol Rovers 2. Bristol Rovers played well here, 3 shots out of 13 on target, 2 in the net. When they get it on target, it's placed, and it's quite likely went in the net last time, and they just need it. Look, if they can convert more of those shots that just go awry or got blocked, several got blocked in that game, instead of just bashing it against defence, if they could actually place more of those 13, hell, this could be a team and a half, couldn't it? You can see where people are thinking Bristol Rovers could win many games quite easily, because if they'd have done that, if they'd have not blasted so many, and if they'd have managed to be able to place those shots, those 2 out of 3 would have been, 4 out of 6, 4 out of 7. It could have easily been that, couldn't it? But they lost 3-2 to a York City side who they allowed to play to play the game. They allowed York City to pass. They had over twice as many passes, York City, while Bristol Rovers just watched them. And one wonders if Bristol Rovers thought that York City would be an easy pick-off. They weren't. 70% possession, 16 shots, 6 on target, 3 in the net, shows that they could be just as clinical. And they got more shots, and more shots on target, so they won. Simple as that. Newport County last time out was Rochdale, and Newport 3, 10-man Rochdale 0. Newport here, because obviously Newport reduced Rochdale to 0 shots on target. Their defence was really good, really solid. But it didn't mean that they were just putting 10 men behind the ball. 12 shots from their 33% possession, 6 on target, 3 in the net. Rochdale appeared to play the let's control the game. Look, if we have a high percentage possession, we'll get a goal eventually. Not if you don't play it into the opposition's final third. You aren't going to get a thing, are you? No shots on target means, guess what? Possession means nothing. You didn't win. 3-0. Will Rochdale learn from that? I don't know, but let's go to the Newport thought there. The Newport County, 33% possession, 6 shots out of 12 on target, and 3 of them in the net. That is how to play football. So I'm a little bit worried for Bristol Rovers here, but you know, that Bristol Rovers team has so much ability, and like I said, they could rock any of these teams in this division if they placed some of those balls on target rather than blasting them. And that's my thought here. It could. I actually agree. Most of you are saying, the 2 people I did get predictions from said 2-1 and 3-1 to Bristol Rovers. I can see it being 3-1 either way. Really can see it being 3-1 either way. For me, though, I think, was it that Newport County? Yes, League 2. Here we go. We can really rock it this. We can really rock this year. We're gonna totally overturn what people are thinking about our predictions for the whole season. And or will it be Bristol Rovers thinking, we know what went wrong, we can change it. Let's change it. So it's going to be 3-1. I'm going to go with you lot. I'm going to go Bristol Rovers 3, Newport 1, but that could easily be the other way around. As we go to Salford versus Chesterfield. And again, a Salford City side that was supposed to be brilliant this season. EFL Cup, Shrewsbury 1-1. Barnet away in the League 2. Barnet 3, Salford City 1. And only by a 90-minute goal there by Aluwu. So they have got some good. They have got a good squad. New management, not quite gelling at the minute. They allowed Barnet. Look, they're slightly more play. Salford, 14 shots, 3 on target, 1 in the net. Mid-table sort of passing. Both teams playing it down the wing and trying to cross it in this game. Reasonably placed shots, but not always. I'd say these two teams were actually more balanced than anything, except for the fact that Barnet, with 46% possession, got 20 shots, not 14, and 8 of them on target. And of those 8, 3 went in the net. It was just a case here that Barnet got more of them in the net at the end of the day. So Salford might feel a bit aggrieved that it wasn't at least a draw there. So let's go to Chesterfield then. And Chesterfield played Fleetwood. It was, let's go to the game, Chesterfield 0, Fleetwood 1. Chesterfield here will be a little bit aggrieved, won't they? 67% possession and against Fleetwood's 33. Chesterfield 16 shots, only 3 on target, which a little bit poorer than 4-1. So they're not playing top half football here. Whereas Fleetwood 14 shots, 7 on target, and 1 in the net. They might have thought they should have got 2 of those at least, but Chesterfield just great passing, absolutely brilliant passing, guys. And you actually managed to pass it and get it into the opposition's final third. So this is the point. It was when it got into the final third. You're not taking chances. They're not taking the chances. They're not even, when they get a half chance, they turn around and think, well, we'll pass it back and we'll see if we can get it in another direction, a better shot at goal, which is great. It means you're trying to pass, you're trying to place the ball rather than wellying it. But quite sometimes, just sometimes, they wellied it instead. Sod it, it's not going to work, and blast it at the defenders. They have to find a way around this, and I think they will. They have got a good quality side. They will be aggrieved that they didn't get more of those 16 on target and more, at least 1 in the net. So, unfortunately, we've got 2 sides here who aren't playing their best football. And I'm going to agree with you. Look, the bookies are going down on the side of the home team, Salford, by 1 or 2 goals. But the couple of people that I've seen have put a draw in for this. So we're going to go with Salford 1, Chesterfield 1. So then we go with Walsall Grimsby, and Walsall in the EFL Cup, Bristol City 0-1 win. I mean, that is a good win there. And a 3-0 win to Gillingham on Saturday. Gillingham 0, Walsall 3. Now you've got to look at the goals, right? The goals here, Walsall seemed to just tire Gillingham out. And then they got the goals on 81, 89 and 90 plus 6 minutes. They kept the ball quite well, but they did allow Gillingham to have it. And let's just see what you can do with it. And I think when they realised that Gillingham just weren't going to get anything from this game, they allowed Gillingham 44% possession. 18 shots, so they don't let them get into an area where they're not going to have a decent shot. Let them have a bit of a shot, but keep them at arm's length. 18 shots, 7 on target, none in the net. They did a really good tactical game here, Walsall, believe it or not. 19 shots from them, 6 of them on target, 3 in the net. When they attacked well. with clinical ability and precision. I liked this game for the fact that Walsall also played some good passing football. Not brilliant, not amazingly great, not the best of the weekend, but it was good, and it showed Gillingham that they've still got some improvement to do. So on the whole, Walsall did deserve that, but Gillingham, yeah, they do have some improvement to do. So Walsall deserved it. So Grimsby versus Exeter. Grimsby 1, Exeter 0. It was a 35-minute goal from Rogers in the first half, of course. Grimsby controlled this game. It was almost 50-50 as far as possession. Grimsby having a little bit more, 2 or 3%. But I tell you what, Grimsby, 21 shots, 4 on target, 1 in the net. Again, it's another one of those games where, can you imagine if they got more of these shots actually on target? You know, that if they could really do well. They really could. But they didn't. They passed it around well. They got it into a position to shoot. And then they, for a third of the time, they just wellied it somewhere at goal. And the rest of it was just not very precise and not very technical. The technical ability here, although they won, was inept by Grimsby. So I think the Walsall side here, for me, just have the edge. Even though the betting is saying Grimsby might just get a 1-0 win here. And in fact, the one person who did a prediction video said 1-0 to Grimsby. I'm going to go Walsall 1, Grimsby 0. I go completely the opposite way round. But Grimsby, if they could stop being so bad in front of goal, a little bit more clinical, a lot more clinical, or even a little bit more clinical, they could nick this and several other games by 1 or 2 goals quite easy. But as far as I'm concerned, Walsall 1, Grimsby 0. Colchester versus Oldham next then, and Colchester EFL Cup defeat 2-0 to Southampton. And I think that that cup game, you know, it's a really good championship club, isn't it? They actually did rather well. Southampton don't tend to attack anybody that much. They haven't got such a good front end, but 2-0 defeat, that was actually good for Colchester. Accrington Stanley last time out, 2-2. Accrington 2, Colchester 2. Goals in both halves. You think 50-50, you'd think it should be a draw, shouldn't it? But Accrington, 19 shots, 9 on target, 2 in the net. They would have been slightly disappointed, if only because Colchester got 7 shots, 5 on target and 2 in the net. They were just more clinical in front of goal, Colchester. And I tell you what, 0 block shots for Colchester, which shows you they were placing the ball. So Colchester actually did a really good job here. They might feel aggrieved that they allowed Accrington to have 19 shots in the first place. Nearly 3 times as many shots from Accrington, but and twice as many on target. That in itself was a sin, but can they at home put that to bed? That is the big question. They may allow Oldham to get in the box a little too often. Well, in the cup, they lost to Stoke City 2-0, and actually, that is again a good result from Oldham 2, Port Vale 0. They would have been going into this thinking, oh, we're not going to get the ball. They nearly didn't. 60% possession for Port Vale, 12 shots, 2 on target, none in the net. It's great keeping the ball, guys, but and it's great being able to get into the final third, but you've got to be more clinical with the ball if you're not going to get, if you're going to want to play the possession game, because it's just not going to work like that. 12 shots, 2 on target. No, sorry. Oldham, though, which is the team we're talking about, 40% possession, 11 shots, 3 on target, 2 in the net. Bang, that's it, isn't it? Oldham then are playing a good clinical game, but your Colchester here, yeah, they too extremely good up front, aren't they? They really are showing that they can be a force here. For me, it's just a case of at home, will they be better at stopping the not giving so much possession and shots to the away side, and I can't see that home. It's difficult to play at Colchester, but there again, it's difficult to play away at a lot of the grounds, isn't it? But Colchester is difficult to play away at. The noise there can be quite intimidating sometimes. I think it's going to be an easy win for one of the teams. I'm just not sure which way to go. Well, which way are you going? Colchester is where the bookies are going. They're saying a 1-goal-in-it win for Colchester. I did get somebody saying 2-1, and I did get somebody saying 2-0. I'm going to go with the person who said Colchester 2, Oldham 0. That again could be the other way around, couldn't it? We're going to go next with Crewe versus Northampton. And in this game, the bookies are going firmly with a Crewe win. Crewe in the Cup were 2-1 winners against Accrington Stanley. Now, Crewe, what happened here last time out? 9-man Crawley, 10-man Crewe won. 3 red cards here, and Crewe. Now it's Dumitru, so I think this could be quite difficult for Crewe. It could be difficult, but they're playing quite a dull Northampton side, aren't they? So this is going to be interesting. Crewe 18 shots, 5 on target, some good passing, but so did Crawley. 5 on target, 1 in the net. Yeah, reasonable. This side heavily put it into the corner and crossed it heavily, and it worked for them. It really did. That 1-0 win really showing that this side can absolutely look. They can go into tackles a bit hard. Yeah, they were fouling quite a bit, so they're a bit of a tough side, shall we say, Crewe. But if you're going to be tough, then you need to be tough against a side like Northampton, who really defend doggedly, don't they? You'll get into that final third, and I can see Crewe coming against that Northampton defence and suddenly getting against a wall and going in hard and strong and ending up with bruised ankles. So Northampton last time in the league was 0-0 to Swindon. We'll go for that one first. Northampton 0, Swindon 0. Northampton here, they reduced Swindon to 0 shots on target. I tell you, their defence is brilliant, but up front with just 3 shots and none 3 shots on target and none in the net out of just 9 in the entire game. This was a dull game because Northampton killed it with a brilliant defence, but nothing up front. The 2 cup games for Northampton, Leicester City 1-0 defeat away, which I thought Northampton did extremely well there. Yes, very well indeed. And a 3-0 defeat in the EFL Trophy to Brighton and Hove Albion under 21s. I think that this Northampton side has a lot to learn, and I think that the Crewe side, for me, has the edge here. The bookies are saying Crewe. The person who I caught doing a prediction video says 2-0. I'm going to agree with him. Crewe 2, Northampton 0, as we go to Exeter versus Accrington Stanley. There's a little bit of a disagreement here amongst people because I'll tell you now, Exeter are the ones that the bookies are going for. But for me, that last game, Plymouth 2-0 defeat in the Cup, it's sort of a sort of local derby-ish. It's the West Country. Come on, it's sort of Devon and Cornwall, isn't it? It's the same area for me. Exeter versus, I'm going to get killed for that, aren't I? Exeter last time out then was Grimsby 1, Exeter 0. Yeah, I can be a bit contentious sometimes. Grimsby, Exeter then. We're looking for Exeter. Exeter 2 shots on target, 8 shots in total, none in the net. It was as simple as that. Everything else was about the same. Grimsby had better passing, but apart from that, Exeter just let Grimsby in too often. They only had 53% possession, and yet they were allowed to shoot 21 times. They were just lucky, Exeter, that they only got 4 shots on target and 1 in the net. Exeter just allowed them in far too easy here. Will Accrington make them pay for that? That's the question. In the Cup, it was EFL Cup, it was Crewe 2-1 defeat away, but Colchester, it was Accrington 2, Colchester 2. Colchester did actually come away with a draw. They're probably thinking, hell, how did Accrington not win this one? 50-50 possession, 19 shots to Accrington, 9 on target, 2 in the net. They would have been gutted, wouldn't they? Old Colchester, 7 shots, 5 on target, 2 in the net. And actually, the game was pretty much even as far as I was concerned for the rest of it. Pretty decent shooting, pretty decent passing, decent tackling. Here, I think that Accrington will be the one that would have been gutted. And so what do we think? Exeter versus Accrington. Stanley, the bookies are going with, like I said, for a 1 or 2 goal win for Exeter. But you seem to be going 2-1, 2-0. I'm going to go Exeter 1, Accrington 2. I'm going to continue with Fleetwood Gillingham. Oh dear me. We've got Fleetwood last time out. Well, actually, no, the last 2 games for Fleetwood have been a win against Chesterfield, 1-0 at home in the EFL Cup, and a win against Chesterfield away in the league. And in both of these cases, Chesterfield really did come out fighting. 70% possession in the first game, 67% possession in the second game. But the shots are pretty much even. 16 shots in that last game for Chesterfield, 3 on target, none in the net. For Fleetwood, we got 14 shots, 7 on target, 1 in the net. And I tell you what, Fleetwood here just making sure they got more of them on target. Yeah, not very clinical in front of goal, but if you can get more on target, then surely you've got a better chance of winning. 1-0 wins against Chesterfield and Chesterfield. Gillingham then is who we're playing. And Gillingham here, again, let's look at the Cup games. Luton Town 3-0 defeat in the EFL Cup and a Walsall defeat at home. Gillingham 0, Walsall 3. I think that this side has the ability, Gillingham. They just don't have the quality and the technical ability up front. 18 shots, 7 on target, none in the net. Says it all for me. Just let's shut the dog up. Sorry about that. The dog was playing up. Walsall, for me, 19 shots, 6 on target, 3 in the net. They were just more clinical. They also did better passing, although Gillingham's wasn't that bad. And to me, Gillingham would felt a bit aggrieved at it being 3-0. I think they'll want to make amends this time out, Gillingham, but I don't know if they will. They're against a Fleetwood side that also, they can see that 1-0 win, and they're thinking, we were slightly lucky. Chesterfield really did run the game, both of those games, really well, and that must be a bit disconcerting for the fans. You had very little of the ball, but you still managed to get a win, which is the best thing in the world. But going forward, you're not going to get that luck every game, are we? Well, let's see what you're all thinking. Fleetwood, an easy win according to the bookies. Um, but the guy that I saw online gave it a Fleetwood 1, Gillingham 1. And for me, I would say I'm going to agree with him. I am absolutely going to agree with him. I'm going to go with Fleetwood 1, Gillingham 1. So let's continue with Port Vale versus Tranmere Rovers. Port Vale in the cup lost 3-0 to Wolves. Probably expected that. Oldham Athletic though. Oldham 2, Port Vale 0. Port Vale really tried to control the play here. 60% possession against Oldham and away from home is not something to be thought little about, is it? I mean, 60% possession, 12 shots, only 2 on target though. From that 60% possession is pretty dire. 2 on target, none in the net, and I tell you what, Oldham made them pay. 11 shots, 3 on target, 2 in the net. I mean, you know, you got to be clinical. That's how to do it. Oldham's football was dire, to say the least. Port Vale's was actually quite good. It was sort of like a league, sort of like a League One style football. It was actually quite good play. To watch them, I thought it was good football, and it's not great tackling from both sides. Let's just say that the tackling from both sides for me was okay, but gameplay, passing, Port Vale rocked it here. Was it a 2-0 win to Oldham? Yeah, because Oldham were just clinical and, you know, Port Vale just were dire. Just dire when they go to the final third. Tranmere Rovers then. They're playing the Tranmere Rovers side, and who will know that Port Vale at home are going to be pretty hard to beat. And looking at that last game, if they can get that final third right, they could be, like I think we said, Grimsby, they could be really good, but they have to get it right. Tranmere then, it was Tranmere 2, Shrewsbury 0. 1 in each half. Tranmere 7 shots, 4 on target, 2 in the net. You know, they don't shoot very often, but when they did, it was really good. Passing was dire though, so again, we're sort of putting the same sort of team up for me in Tranmere as we did Oldham, and Port Vale lost that one. Will Port Vale at home be a better team? And that is the big question. Port Vale last year were very, very good at producing 40, 50 minutes of really good football. Let's go back to that Tranmere Shrewsbury game. I'm just interested. They got 43% possession for those 4 shots on target. You know, I think that a team like Port Vale keeping the ball and keeping possession will probably reduce that even more here. I would suggest, I think that Port Vale are being touted for an easy win. I don't think it'll be an easy win, but the one that did the prediction said a Port Vale 1, Tranmere 2. I'm actually going to go with the bookies, and I'm going to go with but not quite as heavily as the bookies are suggesting. I'm going to go with Port Vale 2, Tranmere 1. As we go to Rochdale, and now Rochdale were a lot of people thinking they're not going to do very well. And we got a lot of people on here saying, you know, you've got us wrong. We are going to do a lot better than you think. In the EFL Cup, 2-2 draw against Tranmere away from home. A Bradford 2-0 defeat in the EFL Cup. And it'd be trophy, wouldn't it? I think they've got that one wrong. I think that was EFL Trophy. Which one was the EFL Cup and Trophy? I think one of those is going to be... No, perhaps not. Right, so Tranmere 2-2 draw away from home in the Cup, and a Cup 2-0 defeat to Bradford. So many different cups we're playing, it's quite difficult to remember them all. Newport 3, 10-man Rochdale 0. We are looking at Rochdale. Well, Bilongo got sent off here, so that's going to be a very big downer for them. But I tell you what, they controlled the game really well. 67% possession, no shots on target, and only 5 shots at goal at all. But for 33% possession, Newport did well. As I said, 12 shots for 33% possession, 6 on target, 3 in the net. Rochdale's defence, it wasn't bad, but they made some critical, or gave some critical openings to the opposition there, which they can do without doing against the opposition. Now, Crawley, let's have a look. Crawley, now they only lost 1-0 away in the Cup. I thought that was really good against Watford. They won 2-0 the game before that in the Cup against York City away from home. Last time out, though, we have to look at this. 9-man Crawley 0, 10-man Crewe 1, 3 red cards here. And we're looking at the Crawley side and thinking it was Dimitru, so it's going to be difficult. 18 shots, 5 on target, and 1 in the net. Basically, both these sides were okay with the passing. Tackling was pretty decent. However, 18 shots for Crewe and 9 shots for Crawley. That is it in this game. I worry that you can't keep up 3 red cards per game, can we? It's not going to work. Crawley, that's going to be quite difficult here, isn't it? Because I can see a red card each for these two sides, both decent players from what I can hear. Rochdale versus Crawley. What are you saying? The person who did a review here said 2-0 to Rochdale. The bookies are saying a 1-0, 2-0 to Rochdale. I'm actually going to go on the fence here. I think that both of these teams will be thinking we can't afford to lose. We really cannot afford to lose. And that may produce the most dullest, boring 0-0 around. Or it may be a one-sided Rochdale keep the ball and just don't score, and it's exciting 0-0. I'm going to go for Rochdale 0, Crawley 0, and we go through the last 3 games. Rotherham versus York City here, and I really don't want to do this one, but we're going to go and do it anyway. Rotherham United last time out in the Cup it was 4-1 defeat to EFL Cup to West Brom. Could have been 7, 8, 9 nil to be quite honest. Cheltenham Town last time out, Cheltenham 2, Rotherham 1. And the Rotherham side played 60% possession, 19 shots, 5 of them on target, 1 in the net. They're about as clinical as a frog. I'm sorry, they ain't going to score this time of Christmas playing like that. Cheltenham side, just 6 shots, 4 of them on target, 2 in the net. It just shows you what the defence is like at Rotherham. So let's say no more about that. York City then, Bristol Rovers win last time out. I think that's the most important game. York City 3, Bristol Rovers 2. Sorry, Bristol Rovers defeat 3-2. Yes, York City. We're looking at York, aren't we? 3-2. Mainly the second half, this really did come to light, didn't it? 60 minutes, 63 minutes, and 80 minutes for York City. And York City, 70% possession. Strange. I didn't think Bristol Rovers would let them have so much possession, even at home. 16 shots, 6 of them on target, 3 in the net. We didn't think that front line would be as clinical as this. It was. And look at this. Over twice as many passes by York City. They controlled it well, they passed it well, but they didn't just pass it in their own half, they passed it right to the other end and into the net. Did they deserve a 3-2 win, York City? Yes, they did. They played very, very well. So a poor Rotherham United versus a very good York City at the minute. People are actually, the bookies are tending towards a sort of draw here. Can't see where on earth they're getting that from. You're saying, the person who I saw a prediction for said Rotherham 0, York 2. We're going to go with him. Rotherham 0, York 2. Shrewsbury Town versus Barnet next to last game. Shrewsbury here lost 2-0 to Tranmere Rovers. We went through that before. Shrewsbury Town 15 shots against Tranmere's 7, 5 shots on target against Tranmere's 4, and they still lost 2-0. Look, Shrewsbury did play a better passing game, and they did okay in tackling, but probably so did Tranmere Rovers. Did Tranmere deserve to win this? Well, they were just more clinical. At the end of the day, it was a good game from both sides, I thought. It's just that Tranmere played better. So Shrewsbury will be at home against Barnet. Barnet, now look at this. We've got the FL Cup 2-1 defeat to Cambridge. Then what happens? What happens at Barnet? Salford City 3-1 win, which we will go to, and again at home 5-1 win against Arsenal under 21s. They've scored 8 goals in 2 games. This team. Barnet 3, Salford 1. I'll tell you what, 20 shots from Barnet, 46% possession. 8 of them on target, 3 in the net. This team can not only get the clinical ability to get them in the net, they aren't afraid to shoot. And I tell you what, they're not afraid to shoot against whoever that comes along. 5-1 win against Arsenal included. And yes, it is only the under 21s, but you've got to be prepared to play a team that's got some damn good coaches. I really have. So I was really impressed by that Barnet side. So are the bookies. I think it's going to be an easy Barnet win. Shrewsbury not really ticking at all here. They're not showing any desire or any skill on the pitch here. 2-1 and 2-0 is what I've got from fans. I'm actually going to extend that. I'm going to go for Shrewsbury 1, Barnet 3 as we go to the last game, Swindon versus Cheltenham. I'll tell you now, Swindon are the favourites here, and I'm not quite sure. They're easy favourites, and I'm thinking, how can you make them easy favourites? Because Swindon Town last time out 0-0 against Northampton. In the EFL Cup, a good game. 3-2 defeat away at Cardiff. We can't not say that. That was a really good game. But here, Northampton Town versus Swindon. Swindon had 0 shots. It was about 50-50 possession as well. So 4 shots in total, none on target, none in the net. Northampton, from their 51%, 9 shots, 3 on target, none in the net. This was a bore draw. It was almost like neither of these teams really wanted to create a clear-cut chance. They couldn't afford to lose. So let's both put a damn good defensive side on. I'll give Northampton their due. They kept going down to the wing and crossing it. And they did get a few corners from that. And they did. It was a good tackling game. Both played a good tackling game because they tried not to lose the game. Neither did lose the game. Northampton 0, Swindon 0. But that really does bode a little bit different from the Cheltenham side that came away with a 2-1 win at home to Rotherham. Cheltenham 2, Rotherham 1. Rotherham had 60% possession there, yet with 5 shots on target and 1 in the net. Cheltenham managed from 40% to get 6 shots, 4 on target, 2 in the net. They are slightly more clinical, but the problem here is that yes, Cheltenham are more clinical, But Swindon just played a defensive game. They weren't trying as hard to get a goal to win it. They wanted to just settle down first. Both of them did. And I can see where people are coming from. Swindon, they think, will come back here and just manage to get that get this win. Cheltenham played good for 2 quarters of the Rotherham game. Rotherham played brilliantly for 2 quarters, but did nothing with it. And I think people are looking at that inconsistency during the 90 minutes and thinking Swindon should be able to make the most of any periods of Cheltenham taking their eye off the ball. I'm actually going to agree with the one person who made a prediction here and with the bookies as well, and go Swindon 1, Cheltenham 0. If you like what you see, then please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Remember, join us Sports Channel, like and subscribe.